Here are the top stories for today, October 17, 2019. Malacanang blasts the staff of U.S. President Donald Trump for not knowing of President Duterte's success in his war on drugs. A magnitude 6.3 earthquake hits parts of Mindanao, killing at least 4 and damaging a number of schools and buildings. PCOO Chief Martin Andanar calls for a stronger campaign against drugs in the wake of the killing of a child by her drug-dependent mother. And the Anti-Red Tape Authority orders 3 agencies to shape up after continuously receiving complaints on their services.
Good day, I'm William Theo. Welcome to the PNA Newsroom. Our top story for today, Malacanang blasts to the senior staff of U.S. President Donald Trump for showing blissful ignorance of President Rodrigo Duterte's success in eradicating illegal drugs in the Philippines. Presidential spokesperson Salvador Panelo said the executive branch was no longer surprised when Trump's aides and other members of his administration were left genuinely horrified by the U.S. leader's admiration of Duterte's anti-narcotics drive. Panelo's statement was in reaction to the Washington Post's October 5 report, which claimed that Trump's past embarrassing phone calls with foreign leaders, including Duterte, had served as an anxiety-ridden set of events for his aides and members of the administration. The report cited Trump's phone conversation with Duterte in April 2017, from which the American president praised the Philippine leader for doing an unbelievable job on the drug problem. Panelo slammed the Washington Post for spreading mere rumors against Trump and other world leaders mentioned in this article. The Department of Justice on Wednesday commenced its preliminary investigation into the so-called ninja cops accused of drug-related charges. During the hearing, the panel of prosecutors consisting of Senior Assistant State Prosecutor Alexander Suarez and Assistant State Prosecutors Josie Cristina Dugay and Gino Paulo Santiago granted the motion filed by the complainants and the respondents for more time to present additional evidence. The parties were given 5 days or until October 21st to submit their evidence. Except for Major Rodney Baloyo, all of the respondents were present, namely Lieutenant Joven de Guzman Jr., Senior Master Sergeants Alcindor Tino and Eligio Velaroso, Master Sergeants Dante Dizon, Romel Vital and Ronald Roque, Staff Sergeant Dindo Dizon, Corporals Gilbert De Vera, Jules Maniago, Romeo Guerrero Jr., and Anthony Laksamana. The case involves the automatic review of the dismissal of the case by the Pampanga prosecutor against the policemen who were facing charges in violation of Republic Act 9165 or the Comprehensive Dangerous Drugs Act of 2002 for misappropriation, misapplication, or failure to account for seized drugs and planting of evidence. Speaker Alan Peter Cayetano on Wednesday said the term sharing agreement he had with Marinduque Representative Lord Alan Velasco still stands. However, he said he would let President Duterte decide on the continuity of his leadership after 15 months as Speaker. During the inspection of sports facilities at the new Clark City in Capas, Tarlac, Cayetano said the head of the coalition is the president. So while the Congress is independent and free from intervention from the executive, the one who decides for the coalition is the president. The Taguig Pateros lawmaker, however, quickly assured Velasco that he has nothing to worry about since there is no use of talking about something that is still far away. President Duterte brokered the term sharing agreement before the House elected Cayetano last July 22nd. Under the said agreement, Cayetano would hold the post for 15 months or up to October next year, after which Velasco takes over. Also under the agreement, Romualdez will be the House Majority Leader of the 18th Congress for 3 years. President Duterte on Wednesday directed the Department of Environment and Natural Resources and the Department of Energy to closely monitor the power generation firms in the country. The president gave the directive as he urged the generation companies to observe existing rules and regulations set by the government. During the switch-on celebration of San Buenaventura Power Limited Company, or SBPL, in Taguig City, Duterte said energy companies should provide reliable and affordable electricity to consumers. Duterte thanked the SBPL for taking a crucial step in establishing an environment-friendly power generation facility that would augment the current level of power supply in Luzon. The president was also optimistic that other firms would help his administration address inadequacy of energy generation and distribution nationwide. A labor group is supporting the plan to increase Pag-ibig's minimum member contribution. And the Philippine National Police bans playing golf on weekdays. More on this from Benjamin Doc.
Philippine National Police Officer in Charge, Lieutenant General Archie Francisco Gamboa, on Wednesday ordered a ban on playing golf by police officers on weekdays as it affects their productivity during duty hours. He, however, clarified that the ban does not include holidays. Meanwhile, newly appointed NCRPO Chief Brigadier General Dibold Sinas said that aside from the weekday golf ban, there will be zero tolerance for officers who are gambling or serving as financiers to gamblers and other online games. In other news, the Civil Service Commission is inviting job seekers and interested applicants to join the first ever government online career fair. In partnership with Job Street Philippines, job seekers can apply in the offers by various government agencies that will be available online for 1 week. Interested applicants are advised to create an account with jobstreet.com.ph to apply and can file applications online through GOCF from October 21 to 25. Meanwhile, labor group Trade Union Congress of the Philippines said on Wednesday it is supporting the Home Development Mutual Fund's plan to increase the minimum member contribution so that it can provide bigger cash and house loans for its members. TUCP President Raymond Mendoza said the move will enable the state-owned savings program to afford a growing number of workers who borrow additional cash on hand through its short-term and housing loan facilities. HDMF recently announced its plan to increase its minimum member contribution rate from 100 to 150 pesos by 2021 to address the financing gap between member savings and home loan takeouts. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Benj Mondo.
Still to come, a magnitude 6.3 earthquake hits parts of Mindanao, killing at least 4 and damaging a number of schools and buildings. PCOO Chief Martin Andanar calls for a stronger campaign against drugs in the wake of the killing of a child by her drug-dependent mother. These and more when we return.
Ulat sa ginagawa ng Presidente. October 1, Martes. Bumiyahe si Pangulong Rodrigo Roa Duterte kasama ang kanyang delegasyon para sa 5-day official visit sa Russian Federation. October 2, Miyerkules, Moscow, Russia. Nakipag-bilateral meeting si Pangulong Duterte kay Russian Prime Minister Dmitry Medvedev kung saan napag-usapan ang trade and economic relations pati na rin defense at security ng dalawang bansa. Nag-courtesy call sa Pangulo ang mga opisyal ng Rosneft Oil Company. October 3, Huwebes, Sochi, Russia. Nagkaroon ng bilateral meeting sa pagitan ni Pangulong Duterte at Russian President Vladimir Putin. Muling pinagtibay ng dalawang lider ang mas lumalalim na ugnayan ng Pilipinas at Russia.
I'm here today to reaffirm our strong commitment to build a robust and comprehensive partnership with the Russian Federation.
As for our bilateral relationships, I would like to highlight that the Philippines is a very important partner of Russia in Asia. Our bilateral cooperation is constructive and mutually beneficial.
Sunod ay dumalo ang Pangulo sa 16th annual meeting of the Valdai Discussion Club.
What we seek, I assume, what the Russian people and all nations also desire, is fairness, equality, and mutual respect. We want a strengthened rules-based order where countries, big or small, are treated the same. We want unimpeded freedom and guaranteed by our Constitution to exercise our right to govern ourselves as a people and as we saw it fit. And we want friends and partners to respect our independence to make sovereign decisions just as we respect theirs.
PCOO Secretary Martin Andanar on Wednesday said that the appalling murder of a 5-year-old girl by her drug-dependent mom emphasized the need for an intensified anti-illegal drugs campaign. Andanar issued the statement after he learned about the shocking news that Ana Lorraine Medalla allegedly killed her 5-year-old daughter, Caterina Medalla Caponpon, by smothering the child with a pillow in their home in Tuy Village in Rizal, Laguna on October 14. Andanar said the gruesome crime allegedly perpetrated by Medalla was proof that individuals who are under the influence of drugs can cause unimaginable harm. Medalla, who was believed to be suffering from hallucinations due to drug addiction, also purportedly stabbed her eldest child, Keisha Kale Medalla Caponpon, with scissors. Her eldest daughter was brought to the hospital in critical condition with some 20 stab wounds. Medalla was nabbed by authorities and would face parricide and frustrated parricide charges. Andanar said President Rodrigo Duterte's administration would not allow a repeat of such an incident involving drug offenders. The South Luzon Expressway has suspended its planned toll hike due to recent problems with heavy traffic there. This following the recent call by lawmakers to suspend or lower toll fees at SLEX due to the daily vehicular congestion experienced by motorists. San Miguel Corporation President and COO Ramon Ang said the Toll Regulatory Board owes about 7.6 billion pesos to his company as of end of September, which they planned on collecting through an increase in toll fees. Ang said the SMC's focus was on solving the current traffic situation in the Alabang area of the beleaguered expressway. Starting September 25, the traffic flow became heavy due to the closing of one lane in the northbound portion of the SLEX from Alabang towards Muntinlupa to make way for the construction of the Skyway Extension project. Two strong quakes struck Mindanao Wednesday night and early Thursday morning. A magnitude 6.3 quake hit Mindanao at 7:37 p.m. Wednesday, with the epicenter traced in Tulunan, North Cotabato. PHIVOC says the tremor registered intensity 7 in Kidapawan City. An aftershock caused by a fire around 8 p.m. at Gaisano Mall in General Santos City. Indigo City, a number of people were rushed to the hospital for injuries, hypertension, and fainting. Classes were also suspended in Davao City, North Cotabato, and Samal Island as authorities assess schools for damage. Meanwhile, a second earthquake with magnitude 5.3 struck Davao Oriental hours after the magnitude 6.3 quake. The epicenter was located northeast of Manay Town. No damage was expected. Members of Task Force on Energy Resiliency are now checking energy infrastructure in several areas in Mindanao hit by a 6.3 magnitude earthquake Wednesday night. In a statement, the Department of Energy, or DOE, said the TFER is gathering data on the status of energy facilities. The DOE said it assures the public of updates on the matter. Meanwhile, at least 29 structures in regions 11 and 12 were reported damaged by the earthquake. In a report from the National Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Council, at least 4 persons and more than 60 others were also injured. Local police in Dagupan City have started preparing for All Saints' Day. Meanwhile, the Army in Davao cites Executive Order 70 in the decrease in encounters with the NPA. More on these and other news from the provinces from Teresa Montemayor.
The Dagupan City Police in Pangasinan has started its security preparations to ensure the peaceful observance of All Saints' Day and All Souls' Day. Local police said they are currently in the process of coordinating with the city's public and private cemeteries. Police will be augmented by the Public Order and Safety Office, Bureau of Fire Protection, City Health Office, and various private groups to assist the jam-packed crowd come undas. Full deployment will be implemented on October 30 to November 2 to ensure security and traffic flow. In Butuan City, a number of modernized public utility vehicles have begun plying major routes in compliance with the government's PUV modernization program. The Butuan City Information Office said on Wednesday that the initial batch of electric PUVs consists of 6 solar e-jeeps, 4 Class 2 single-tire, and 5 Class 3 double-tire modern vehicles. The modern PUVs are serving routes 12 and 13 with the same fare of 8 pesos as those being operated by traditional public utility jeepneys. Meanwhile, the Army has cited President Rodrigo Duterte's Executive Order 70, which institutes a whole-of-government approach in addressing communist insurgency and decreased armed engagements between government troops and the New People's Army. The 10th Infantry Division said EO 70 has resulted in the intensified grassroots campaign against the NPA, which leads to more rebels surrendering. The task force to end local communist armed conflict have also been providing necessary services to the people, especially those who are isolated or located in disadvantaged conflict-affected areas in the Davao region. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Teresa Montemayor.
Up next, the Anti-Red Tape Authority orders 3 agencies to shape up after continuously receiving complaints on their services. And health experts warn parents to avoid feeding their children instant noodles and other processed foods. We will be back after a few reminders.
October 4, Biyernes, Moscow, Russia. Dumalo si Pangulong Duterte sa Philippines-Russia Business Forum kung saan pinirmahan ang ilang business cooperation agreements. Hinikayat din niya ang mga Russian investors na mamuhunan sa bansa, partikular na sa infrastructure program ng Pilipinas.
I invite you to participate in the massive build infrastructure program, especially in transport and railway construction, where Russia has high expertise.
Pinangunahan niya ang wreath-laying ceremony sa Tomb of the Unknown Soldier bilang paggalang sa mga Soviet soldiers na namatay sa Great Patriotic War mula 1941 hanggang 1945. Kinagabihan ay nagtanghal sa harap ng Pangulo ang world-renowned Filipino cultural groups na Bayanihan Dance Company at madrigal singers na pinabilib din ang Russian audience. October 5, Sabado, Moscow, Russia. Ginawaran si Pangulong Duterte ng honorary doctorate degree ng Moscow State Institute of International Relations. Bago umuwi ng Pilipinas, ay binisita ng Pangulo ang Filipino community na mainit naman siyang tinanggap.
Secretary Bello is working on an agreement na kayong nandito overstaying or have had problems, they will be covered with an understanding. Ang aking prayer lang is just abide by the laws of Russia. Sumunod lang kayo sa batas at wala tayong problema.
October 6, Linggo, Davao City. Agad ibinalita ng Pangulo ang matagumpay niyang 5-day official visit sa Russia.
We reaffirm the Philippines' strong commitment to a robust and comprehensive partnership with the Russian Federation on the basis of mutual respect, trust, and pragmatism. And working with Russia, we have achieved much.
Ako po si Secretary Martin Andanar at ito ang Duterte on Duty. Abangan sa susunod na linggo ang mga gagawin ng Pangulo.
The Anti-Red Tape Authority has told the Land Transportation, Franchising and Regulatory Board, Food and Drug Administration, and the Land Registration Authority to shape up after they were named the most problematic government agencies. ARTA Director General Jeremiah Belhica revealed that the LTFRB, FDA, and LRA are the top 3 red tape-ridden offices that still need to improve the delivery of their public services. Belhica was dismayed by the sluggish performance of the LTFRB, the FDA, and the LRA amid the President's commitment to improve and expedite government service. He also threatened to file a case against the 3 agencies if they fail to show improvement. The LRA is among the 5 most complained government agencies identified by President Rodrigo Duterte, including the Bureau of Internal Revenue, Social Security System, Land Transportation Office, and Pag-ibig. President Rodrigo Duterte has named his 2 special envoys to Japan and China who will negotiate with the Asian nations in terms of trade and investments. The former House Speaker Feliciano Belmonte Jr. was tapped as the President's special envoy to Japan for trade and market access on Wednesday. The chief executive also designated Jaime Cruz as his special envoy to China for trade and investments. The President also renewed the ad interim appointments of Wendell Abisado and William Dar as respective heads of Budget and Agriculture departments. Previously, Pedro Miguel Santos was appointed as Director 3 of the Presidential Communications Operations Office on October 15. Duterte also picked Joel Abutal as Commodore of the Philippine Merchant Marine Academy. Golda Margaret Arque was named board member of the UCPB General Insurance Company Incorporated. The Department of Labor and Employment is not yet planning to order a deployment ban for overseas Filipino workers to Hong Kong. Labor Secretary Silvestre Bello III said there is no advice yet from the Department of Foreign Affairs to stop sending OFWs to Hong Kong. The DFA has, however, advised others who are planning to go on trips for leisure and other non-essential purposes to postpone their plans or at least be careful over there. Bello reiterated his call to Filipinos working there not to join mass actions and stay away from places where rallies are being held. Tension continues to escalate in the island as residents continue to hold protests against the government. Health experts on Wednesday urged parents to avoid feeding their young children with instant noodles and other processed foods. The DOH says at 6 months of age, children should not eat food with artificial coloring and flavors. It said while instant noodles may be fortified and mean to provide nutrition, if they are high in sodium, it is going to be unhealthy for the child's kidneys. To keep children from consuming instant noodles and processed food, the DOH urged parents to prepare meals ahead of time. For its part, the National Nutrition Council said to add to the nutritional value of noodles, parents are told to add vegetables like squash and malunggay as well as eggs. Here now is the latest in our community billboard. The 80s British new wave singer Paul Simpson will be in Manila and Baguio for 2 intimate shows for fans in the post-punk era. Simpson will perform in Okada in Pasay City on October 19. On October 26, he will visit Baguio to hold a show at the 18BC Music Lounge. Local Baguio favorite band The Edralins will be the front act for Simpson shows in both Manila and Baguio. Simpson is the co-founder of the Wild Swans, who in 1982 recorded and released Bringing Home the Ashes, which was a cult following in England, the United States, Europe, and the Philippines. Simpson, along with his band, last came to the Philippines in 2011. Here's another look at today's biggest stories.
Malacanang blasts the staff of U.S. President Donald Trump for not knowing of President Duterte's success in his war on drugs. A magnitude 6.3 earthquake hits parts of Mindanao, killing at least 4 and damaging a number of schools and buildings. PCOO Chief Martin Andanar calls for a stronger campaign against drugs in the wake of the killing of a child by her drug-dependent mother. And the Anti-Red Tape Authority orders 3 agencies to shape up after continuously receiving complaints on their services.
Thank you for watching another episode of the PNA Newsroom. To check more news content, check our webpage or head on to the Philippine News Agency's Facebook and Twitter accounts. For more stories about the government and how it serves Filipinos, look for these hashtags in all of our social media platforms and websites. We are shown on the pages of the PCOO and its attached agencies. Also, watch us on television on PTV4 and IBC 13. And that's your daily dose of the biggest stories that you need to know. From the PNA Newsroom, I am William Theo. Good day.